What is my relief? My relief is watching the sunlight, maybe in the morning or in the evening, most especially in those times. And during the day when the sun is strong, I like mild sun, especially in warmer climates. But sun is sun, and I don't want to filter it out by watching it through a window or sunglasses, or even through sunscreen. But the thing is that I use sunscreen for aesthetic reasons now. So maybe, if I get the chance to have fully healthy skin and um, e- establish a balanced lifestyle, I will stop wearing sunscreen, but right now I'm fine with it. My relief also is eating good food that is full of fiber, nutrients, and even water. Because by eating vegetables that are fresh and organic mostly, and fruits, I get to function properly because honestly, I absorb these types of foods the best. And in my opinion, you're not what you eat, you are what you absorb. Nevertheless, what you consume gets to you, obviously. So, food that's really natural, local, and seasonal is definitely my relief, no matter the conditions or circumstances. However, when as a woman I'm in certain phases of my cycle, such as the days of the period from the first day to the 10th day, and then from the 15th to the 18th day, I prefer fatty foods. So then fasting, because of the preference for ketones, is also my relief for sure. And then physical exercise is most my relief as well, because it is in those days that I feel like I could keep going for days without eating. And this is scientifically healthy, like it's scientifically proven based on hormonal shifts of women. I never used the pill, I never took contraception and never really altered my body in a long lasting way. So I have regular cycles, and I recommend Dr. Minda Peltz's work because she writes amazing and she just knows a lot that you may not know. Exercise is generally my relief if I haven't worked out in a while. And the thing is, if the healthier I am, the more I exercise, the better it feels. But it's also like I can, you know, do it too much. And how? It's just by not really listening to my needs. But generally, 30 to 35 minutes of cardio or high intensity interval training, or even any type of lifting workout or resistance training, I am good to go every 2-3 days. And exercise is not just my relief, it's my basic need for sure. I have been exercising most of my life from the age of 8 intensely because I started going to an elementary school that um, specialized in training kids to, move their bodies. So I learned to swim at that age, or maybe even a little bit before, because my father taught me. And then it was also like I realized how important sleep is. Sleep is also my relief when done right, because I like to sleep in a fully dark room because I am Gen Z and I have grown up in front of screens. Basically, my eyes are super sensitive to, even just the differences of lighting. So, for example, desk light, um, lamp post, or screen, or even the light from the sun directly. I can differentiate between these things and how comfortable they feel to my eyes based on how natural they are. And so nowadays I can barely sleep. No, literally, like my sleep quality changes if I don't sleep in a fully dark room. But if I do, I wake up like a queen, like I had the best night of my life, even if I, kind of just ended up meditating all night or could not sleep because I was just laying in bed. I literally feel like that is the solution. I like to sleep on my back mostly. I need to because of my spine, and I like to sleep in that case without a pillow because I used to be a long distance runner, and I really like to protect my neck. And on as hard of a surface as possible, of course, I try to remain normal and natural. And I like to use a bed and a mattress. But if I have the chance, or if I can tolerate the quote unquote discomfort, I I do honestly need to sleep on a hard surface, on a fully hard surface, to just ground myself or bring myself back to the moment in a way. And there was a time in my life where I was not only survival mode, but I was doing a lot of exercise. I spent a lot of time outdoors, and it was then that I could not tolerate the softness of an average mattress. So I found myself literally falling asleep on my back on the floor without a pillow multiple times, and having had the most restful, peaceful, deep sleep that I had ever had. So, you know, it may be extreme, but it can be a healing experience for some, I would say. Another thing that is my relief is spending time with people whom I really associate with in a positive way, or whom I associate to something positive. For example, people I respect is one thing. People I not don't just tolerate but look up to. People who look up to me. People I can inspire, or people who inspire me. People I motivate actively, or people who actively motivate me. People I contain because I love them, or people who love me because they contain me. People I love not because I need them, but people who I need because I love them. People who are grateful, people whom I can express gratitude to without having criticism and complaints be the only thing that they return. People who give me contact comfort and people I can touch confidently without them thinking too much into it, honestly. People who like pets, people who like nature, and in general, people who say hi to me, who talk to me, who look into my eyes, who shake my hand, who touch my shoulder and elbow, people who I can sit with, people who are creative, I like. Another thing that provides me relief is finding something to be grateful for, joy, anything positive, anything inspiring, anything new, anything surprisingly playful. Another thing that brings relief to me is ironically finding a room or a hotel room or hotel that is in a well located area. What I mean by this is finding kind of a secluded place for myself for a while and just surprising myself in that way by spending a little bit more time alone in nature, even, or just by taking advantage of a change of scenery. What brings me relief is absorbing the miracles of the changes and the shifts in nature. For example, the changes and shifts in weather. I like snow. I like what it looks like when everything is covered in snow. I like sunlight. I like the sound of rain. I like climbing mountains and then just kind of listening to everything that is around me. My father, when he was around my age, he could differentiate between all types of plants in the forest. And my mother told me that my father used to tell every single plant that they passed, as they passed them, what they were called in our tongue and what they were called in Latin, so their medical name, with enthusiasm. My father also used to study mushrooms, so he actually studied from a mushroom expert at the university that he attended here and there, and I think he learned from the best person in the country at the time, or one of the best. Mind blowing. So another thing that brings me relief is remembering my childhood's positive moments, and mainly I'm referring to early childhood, so things that really I do enjoy, like taking excursions, spending time with family, going to fast food restaurants with my family, going to like water parks, things like that, vacations by the sea, swimming in the sea, my father also fetching little fish from cages under the water, and then him bringing it home in his swimming shorts, and then us frying them and eating them for dinner. What brings me relief is reading a book that I really appreciate or I'm interested in, in a peaceful environment, like in the house. That's major to me. What brings me relief is actually ironically thinking about people I love, even if I do not intend on loving them. Because I sometimes like being out of control, even in thought, and I can fantasize about people. For example, my ex. So that tends to bring me relief because I know he wouldn't be against me fantasizing about him, you know? What brings me relief is finding new ways to sustain my health, such as, even looking after my parents, because that is almost like a placebo of the ripple effect of getting healthier and healthier for me. So by representing myself and presenting myself better, I get to get better feedback, which also impacts my self esteem, which in turn impacts everything I do, including healthy things. What brings me relief is meditating and stretching as a woman. Yeah. Because it reminds me of how flexible I can be or could be. And it just fills me with hope and just like, a little bit of mobility that I never knew I had. Um, I like going to the gym because of the specific types of machines that I can use and the ways I can lift weights. It gives me like a type of diversity that is really such a useful thing for me, and I cannot just establish a home. So it's really kind of miraculous how much the gym can really service some people's living environments almost. And it's also like a playground. What brings me relief is traveling, honestly. But who has not been a tourist? Who has been a tourist and not said, I like a change of scenery, Um, I like the relief that education brings me. I like the relief that journaling brings me. I like the relief that disposing of old, used, or worn out things brings me. I like the relief that breathing clear, fresh air brings me. I like the relief that maintaining good hygiene brings me every time I take action in accordance with it. I like the relief that singing brings me. I like the relief that writing brings me. I like the relief that beauty brings me. I like the relief that money brings me for sure. I like the relief that